All right, all right, all right. Let's get this going. I have a little piece of sage here we can burn. Kind of try to get this energy to be in an okay spot. And some of what I'm seeing here, we have a Two of Cups, but it's in reverse. Two of Cups talks about sort of your emotional connection. So this seems to be about emotional blockages. And that makes sense because the very next card is a Four of Pentacles, where you can see that this woman is kind of clutching at her pentacles and trying to keep that close by. She's worried about them. This is maybe not a piece of your abundance era, and she's protecting her energy. And the very next card is Queen of Pentacles, which seems like that's either a very large jump for you, or this is like the energy that we're trying to reach. And as we attempt to attain this, it seems like the suggestion is something like go inside, pull your energy together, keep it close, and try to stay in that mindset for a little bit. Pull back a little. And then when you're ready to breathe out again, when you're ready to relax, when the energies of 2025 kind of release you, then it's time to think about Three of Pentacles and start collaborating and working with others and building your community again, crafting, creating, building. The bottom of the card, or the bottom of the deck, was the Knight of Cups, which is sort of your typical romantic. He's off his horse, so he's not going super fast. But it seems like there's some romantic aspect. But, it's also kind of held back by this emotional break of the Two of Cups in reverse, and also the Four of Pentacles, where you're kind of clutching your pearls close to chest. So cautiously, hopelessly romantic. And underneath that is the Nine of Swords. So I tried to just get one card off the base of the deck, and I couldn't. I kept fidgeting to close of the cards, and this Nine of Swords kept sticking out. So you're in a bit of a mental prison, or maybe you've put this behind you finally. But when you're coming as the Knight of Cups, as you're existing as this knight, it seems like you might be cautious. The reason why you're not on that horse going as fast as you possibly can is because underneath all that lies some of this Nine of Swords. The hawk here in the bottom left is talking about your vantage point and kind of coming at this from a high perspective. And so, maybe you can see yourself doing this. Maybe you can see yourself actually pulling your energy back. And maybe you even said, I'm pulling it back. I can't do all the things I need to do and live in the 2025 tailspins and the end of that while sharing my energy everywhere. So the hawk has a high perspective on that. For duality, I tend to think of this card as the teaching through contrast. It comes from the Cries of the Souls Oracle deck. And, the duality of man, the duality of nature, that, the light and the dark, the death and the rebirth, it's both. But the duality card is talking to me about learning from that. You have the eye that's kind of above it, and you're learning through the contrast. That's what we're learning. And the star talks to me about healing. So we're learning and healing through contrast. We have this other card. It's from Celtic Magic. It's otherworldly. And here you have a mirror. And on that mirror, you can sort of see this vision of heaven. And this is kind of what Celtic heaven might look like. Now, in my alchemical process that I'm encouraging you to go through, you have a sort of imagination period. And seeing this through the mirror makes me think like that's your imagination. You are envisioning your heaven and then eventually stepping into that. So if you're already doing some manifesting and visualization, this to me would be a confirmation that it's working. If you haven't started that, this would be a confirmation of like, hey, if you want to step into your dream life and make those changes, you have to start with some kind of vision of what would be different. I have a Sun Tzu quote: "To fight and conquer in all your battles is not supreme excellence. Supreme excellence consists in breaking the enemy's resistance without fighting." So doing this not through sheer force, but through some kind of cleverness or willpower, but not necessarily fighting, seems useful and appropriate. And then we have all the little charms here. So the first one I see, I tend to think of the gold ones as having a little bit of a higher mission here. So the one that's at the top is a hot air balloon, and that to me speaks of ascension. To the left, we have the fleur de lis, which either talks about kind of the Trinity and doing that with some spiritual thought, or maybe possibly royalty and having some powerful bloodline that flows through you. The captain's wheel could be nautical, and it could just be a simple boat, but it also typically talks to me about the wheel of fortune and sort of changing paths, changing your trajectory, hopefully moving off of the bottom of that emotional disconnect to finding your way to the Queen of Pentacles, where you're sitting in your peace and comfortable and not clutching your pentacles, but just sort of like displaying them a little, confident in it, doing pretty well. We have death, or I mean, maybe it's pirates, but I think that's meant to be death. I don't. There's not a lot of piracy for my audience, as far as I know. So death and rebirth, and to me, in the alchemical process of the radiant pathway, it is constantly dying and constantly being reborn. So I'm happy to see that death in there. You got to say goodbye to your old self. Now in here, I drew the largest anchor. So anchors to me speak of stability. You bring your ship into port and you anchor it down, but it can also be stuck. So ask yourself, am I anchored here because I'm building a position of stability, or am I anchored here and I'm stuck? Can I mentally raise my anchor and do something good with that? Then we have an airplane. Airplane talks to me about travel. You have a couple hearts, one that has a key, so maybe it's a little guarded rather than just open. This other heart has Uranus, like a crescent moon and a star in it. So maybe there's like some astrological love or some foretold love. And then you have this kind of mystical cat, and the mystical cat is striking me as like staring at you. So maybe it's an actual cat, and an actual cat is just looking at you. But to me, it strikes more of like you have some guardians and angels and guides that are around you that are keeping tabs. So maybe reach out to them, say hi, say, hey, feel free to help me, feel free to align me, feel free to, engage me so that I can heal and get these 2025 energies out of here and get some 2026 hot, sweet action going. So that's your reading for today. Hopefully that helps, and thanks for stopping by.